Hello, I'm Frances Peters. Welcome to the first Sydney Public Television test transmission, coming to you live from the rooftops of Surrey Hills via a live link-up with Metro TV in Paddington. Thanks to a hard-working team of volunteers, we've made it to air without any mishaps.
Hi, and welcome to the first edition of Metro TV News. My name is Linda Burney, and here we go.
A lot of the migrant groups, the church groups and the trade union movement are behind Aboriginal people in New South Wales, so I believe that if he tries to pull us on, he'll get more than he bargains for.
The Aborigines have been here 40,000 years or more. We know as Kanaks that we had relations for many, many years with the Aboriginal people. We know also what oppression means. We know what genocide means.
In the studio tonight we have Mr Tiger Bales, Chairperson of the New South Wales Lands Council. Tiger, would you like to just explain to the viewers what the contents of the document are and how it came about?
Well, firstly, Linda, as people can see, the document there, the government's has learnt two things. How to use our colours, the red, black and gold, for the dressing, the window dressing. And the second thing with the document is they've learnt a new word called mainstreaming, which basically means assimilation.
Hello, this is a Metro Public Television transmission test. We'd like you to call us and let us know how good the picture and how good the sound is. You can locate us at this number or this address.
Good evening, this is Black on Black on Metro Public TV, UHF 31. Programs presented will be discussions of issues, plus interviews, music and films. Stay tuned, because this is Koori Metro, and we think that Koori time is the best time.
In the studio this evening for first Black on Black forum are Bronwyn Penrith from the Metropolitan Land Council, Tiger Bales from the New South Wales State Land Council, and Kevin Cook from Tranby, and I'm going to throw it over to them now.
For the first time, Aboriginal communities own sheep stations. They own other farms. So it goes on and on. But you're not going to cure all the ills. We're not going to cure unemployment for Aboriginal people in 5 years.
The sorts of things I like about the land rights legislation, and that is that it is in fact controlled by the communities. You have that structure whereby if you send people to your regional council, to your state council, they're still accountable to your local council.
I'd like to introduce our guest in the studio here now, Mr Cliff Foley from the Gandangara Land Council. I might add it's taken us last half hour to try and get this bloke in here and pin this microphone to his shirt, but he's here. Welcome, brother. It's good to have the added company here to help us out. We've got ourselves in for quite a bit here, quite a scene this hour and a half on Black tonight on Metro TV. So we certainly appreciate you coming in for the next 20-minute slot.
I'm glad you appreciate it, Tiger. I haven't quite figured out how or why I managed to get into this.
We don't need to worry about that at this point in time, but
No, we won't let those.
We'll go into that tomorrow.
Tomorrow, right. The problem with the Land Council network is that it's going to work, and it is working, and it will work. And all Aboriginal people, from far as I remember back in any of the political struggles, have always asked for economic independence. The Land Council structure in New South Wales will give those Aboriginal communities all across New South Wales their economic independence. And that's all we've ever asked for. And if it's allowed to continue and allowed to really thrive and go its 15 years, we'll have it. You know, we'll have what we've always wanted. But
we have with us tonight a number of studio guests, James and Niaran. Do you want to say hello?
Hello.
What school do you go to?
Redfern Public School.
Where do you go, Niaran?
I go to Redfern Public too.
So, Maureen, we might throw it over to you. We've had lots of discussions about education, but perhaps if you could give people some of your impressions as an Aboriginal kid going through the system.
It was a bit different for me because I was a state warder at a very young age, and so therefore my identity was taken away from me, and I basically went through primary education as a white student.
Your identity is suppressed in that situation.
Your identity as an Aboriginal
your
person.
identity as an Aboriginal person, and if you're fair-skinned and you don't suit the stereotype, then teachers just don't accept that you're in fact Aboriginal, and they say, oh yes, you're a cute kid. This cute little kid thinks that he's Aboriginal, and they seem to I don't know, dismiss your Aboriginality as something that's not important.
And you felt that strongly as a young person?
Yes, I did.
Mm-hmm. Right, what about you, Dave?
Well, growing up in Cabramatta out at in the western suburbs, one of the first school I went to was Villawood Primary, and it was around about the year that the decimal currency came in, and we were really fascinated because the $1 note had all these Aboriginal designs on them, and it wasn't until then that I realised that I was a Koori.
Both my children attended Marawena preschool, and they were taught a fair bit about their culture. They were prepared for the mainstream education system too as well, and I really appreciated the fact that Marawena does exist, and it's there for our kids. But it's a classic example that an Aboriginal school can be and is a very it's a very successful project.
And to make the final point that Aboriginal education is the education of all people in this country. It is not just about the education of Aboriginal students, and it is only going to be through all students receiving a knowledge about Aboriginal history, culture and society that we can really say that Australia has matured and Australia has come of age. Thank you very much.
Black and white breakfast, Metro 31.
There's a nice roll.
I know, it's beautiful, isn't it? Good morning.
Good morning
Breakfast show.
to those tuned in to UHF 31 Public Television.
People in Redfern, Marrickville, Botany, Leichhardt,
Summerhill, all the
Darlinghurst.
people
They're picking us up in Darlinghurst, bouncing back up the city.
To me, that's the sort of racism that exists in this country. It's reflected in the Australian Constitution, because we're still, under the Australian Constitution, are not accepted as the Indigenous people legally. We're not the first people here, according to Terra Nullius. So, it's interesting that in fact, you're the first of the Kanak people that I've met that's actually said that and seen how the racism in this country and how it affects us Indigenous people. Do you think that the relationship between Kooris and Kanaks is going to develop?
Yes, on a cultural level first.
Yes.
I'm working on the possibility of sending a cultural group there. And having a Kanak group coming here and to different places, and from that we'll also of course try to have links between your people and our people on political level.
We've got two, talking about Indigenous, we've got two Indigenous women here this morning that are going to sing a song. In fact, Sharon might give an explanation of the song. Sharon's the Koori woman involved, and we've got Tanya, the Māori woman, so two wonderful nations together.
Well, this song's called Old Koori Woman, and the lyrics are written by myself and music by Michael Thompson.
Old Koori woman, ancestor of my past, I never knew you, but your spirit lives in my heart. Old Koori woman, married to God, generations later, they forget their blood. Old Koori woman, I feel you in me, wanting to tell of a dream time free. Oh, Koori woman, I feel you in me, wanting to tell of a dream.
Anybody who expected that a Royal Commission would stop Aboriginals dying in custody is either incredibly naive or a complete and utter fool. There's no way that a Royal Commission is going to stop Aboriginal people either dying in custody or dying in the communities. What people have got to understand that this death in custody thing is directly related to the original invasion of our country, the dispossession of Aboriginal people, and the fact that for 200 years Australian society has failed to provide some sort of just reparation and compensation for Aboriginal people for what has happened to them. And whilst ever that situation remains, Aboriginal people are going to remain at the bottom end of the socio-economic ladder in this country, are going to be incredibly vulnerable to the abuses of the law by pigs or screws or whoever, and are going to continue with the appalling sort of levels of ill health that we see around Australia, are going to continue dying in both the way we're seeing and with them dying in custody and people dying on the outside. What not enough people realise is that in a lot of ways the death rate in the prisons is to a certain extent is a reflection of the appalling death rates of Aboriginal Australia generally. I mean, you know, that's where some of the truth lies. And until people realise that land rights, which enables Aboriginal people to develop economic independence, which enables them to, for the first time in 200 years after attaining economic independence, be in a position to exercise true self-determination, decide for themselves the direction that their communities go in the future, and are making decisions for themselves and are generating the resources to overcome the problems that exist in their communities, and then be in a position to restore the self-respect and the dignity and the self-esteem. Until all of that happens, you're going to see people dying in jails and on the outside. And there's no point in people thinking that a Royal Commission is going to stop deaths in custody. It's not. Simple as that.
Black and white breakfast. Metro 31.
I think that it's important for people to remember that what you've seen over this last week is a real collection of different people doing committed to an idea about public television and getting access to a medium that not a lot of Koori people get access to. And I think that what public television is going to bring to you is information, non-threatening, and a source of information that is from a direct source, from unemployed youth, from aged, from Aboriginal, from people that have all different sorts of background. And one thing we can promise is that it's going to be interesting, and that what we have to talk about on public television is true and it's coming from the heart.
I was in a sad and sorry state the day they brought me through that gate. I felt just like a bird in a great big cage. Then they put me in a wing where the lifers think they're king. If you're weak, you'll never live to see your day. Bombay jail, you're cruel and bad. You have made sane men go mad. Some have even took their lives different times. But you won't do that to me. I'll still be sane when they set me free. And I pray to God, help me keep my mind. And I pray to God, help me keep my mind.